In your literature, you do make a comparison between what Ann Arbor employees pay and what an example of a private healthcare. You say that Ann Arbor employees pay only 6% of approximately $1,000 monthly health bill, and whereas private pay 41% of $550. So you're making 2 points there, right?
Yes.
You want to?
Right. The costs of healthcare in the Ann Arbor City are much, much higher, and I think they have a real blue chip plan that offers tremendous benefits with very low copays, and then the employees don't have very much skin in the game at all. It was 6% contribution. So I think the governor's on the right track. He just needs to have it extend to all employees rather than just new employees. Right.
It seems that for the Ann Arbor will be paying out something like $14.8 million come the new year, the new fiscal year, and that's from the board's report. That's a chunk of change for and growing. Yes.
Well, I think the ultimate tragedy of this is the city used to have 1,000 employees.
Yes.
Today they have running around 700.
Yes.
That's a 30% drop. So there's a lot of young people that have not gotten jobs to have older people be retired at very young ages.
Yes, and furthermore, for the police and the fire department, their cut is 4% if they don't go along with the new health plan, and 2.5% if they do go along with the new health plan, so that there's loss of services and loss of jobs. Yes?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And potential to grow.
Oh, right. It could become the point where there's dramatically fewer employees. I mean, it's already dramatic. I think a loss of 30% of employees is very dramatic.
Yes, yes. So that is the impact on our city services, right? We
Absolutely.
talk about, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Did you want to add anything, Mike? I didn't want to.
No, I think it's the other thing that has exacerbated the healthcare is just the rapid increase in healthcare. And I think the point that if all of us are a little bit more responsible when we're consuming the healthcare dollars, in the end, if we have health savings accounts or we have something that it's our own money and we're shopping it, I think that we'll make better decisions than if it's just 100% provided.
So there's also the fact that maybe people aren't getting all the checkups they should. That's a new thing because of the price of gas and the cost of going to the doctor. So I don't know, that may be, but certainly it seems to me that people are losing jobs and other people are not having the opportunity of employment.
Right.
So the fourth point, we're done with the governors, is this impact of retirement age on benefit funds and also on what people are getting, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. Would you like to explain the impact?
Well, of course, when somebody gets a pension, their pension is for the rest of their life. So if you retire at age 50, then you might certainly live 30 or more years. And if you retire at age 50, you probably didn't even work 30 years. And so a pension is basically funded over a person's working life. And so if they retire early, the payout is going to be much more over a longer period of time. And one of the ways that I think that the Ann Arbor plan is dysfunctional is that there's no discount if you retire at age 50, as an example.
Right.
You get, if you have 30 years and you've accrued 2.5%, you get that benefit at the age you retire. And I think that if you retire before, certainly, 60 or 65, there should be some discount on your benefit because it's getting paid over a longer period of time.
Similar to Social Security? I mean,
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a similar idea, yes?
Right. The federal government is pretty stingy about that, and there's a huge difference between 62, 65, and 70.
Right.
And for the city to, and Social Security really is a pension system.
Right.
For the city to make it so that there's no discount if you retired at an early age is unsustainable.
Right. In fact, in Social Security, you can't collect until a certain age.
That's right.
Plus the discount. Yes?
It's a significant, the actuarial difference by adding just adding a couple years. It makes it significantly less expensive by pushing back that starting date later. And Doug is absolutely right. If you retire at 50 and you could live to be 90, you retire at 65, but it also allows that money that has been set aside. So it's not just that they're starting sooner, but if you're funding it to 50 and they have to wait to 60 or 65 to begin receiving it, that money that funds it can grow. So it's a double whammy. You have to fund it in a shorter period of time, and they're drawing it out over a longer period of time.
The website has some numerical examples of the differences, and they're just, you look at them, you can't believe how significant it is to have somebody work a few more years.
Right. And what about collecting if someone retires, leaves the job at 60 and takes another job someplace else?
Mm-hmm.
Do they get all their benefits? A health benefit, I understand if they take another job, that other job cover their health benefits, but what about their pension? Can they work a second job and get their pension?
I think the only exception to that would be you couldn't leave one job at the city of Ann Arbor and take another job and collect your pension. But certainly you could leave the city and go to the county.
Okay.
You go to leave the city and work for a private employer, and you still collect your pension.
Okay.
So
Is that
that's
something to be considered?
It's very common. I think that, I guess administratively it may be hard to keep people from collecting. I think.
I really, that in and of itself wouldn't bother me so much, but I think what drives that decision is the fact that if you can retire at 50 with a full pension, then there's no incentive to keep working at the city because you've already earned what you can. Most private pensions say that to get it, it's weighted more, where you get more like a mortgage, where most of the principal is paid at the end. Most of the benefits accrued at the end. So it accrues more slowly, and it accrues because they want to keep that workforce in place towards the end. Or it may say that you have to also attain age 55 or an age and years of service combined. There's a formula that says you have to hit a number that's, when you take your number of years worked plus your age, it exceeds 80 or something.
Yes.
And I don't mind if someone accrues a benefit and they leave, but they're not getting any more because they left early, because the pension would start like you expect it to be. It's a pension, so it's for your retirement. You should retire when you're 60 or 65, not necessarily so early. If you want to leave, you will get your pension when you're 65, and you can go earn some more. That's fine. You've earned it, and I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Right. Okay. So the fifth item, perhaps the most radical, I don't know, is of your plan is that Public Employee Benefits Reform Plan proposes to tax pensions. Now, I know the governor has mentioned that. So could you tell us why you think the benefits should be taxed, and if there are other states are doing it, how do we?
She talked about that.
Well, the prior to the most recent legislation is pensions were excludable up to a certain point if they were private, and for most public employees they were 100% excludable. Where it doesn't make a lot of sense, if you're making a $50, $60, $70, $80,000 pension and you're paying zero income tax on it. You could have a single mother of a couple kids making $40,000, $50,000 a year. She's paying more in income tax than you are when you're taking $80,000 of a pension. Now, Social Security is not subject to tax in Michigan. I think a compromise was reached where it's kind of a complicated compromise where there's a grandfather and all this. But I think I would have rather have seen something where the first 20, 30,000, 10,000, 15,000 is excludable, and anything above that, I think you get to a point where 10, 15, 20,000 plus Social Security kind of guarantees something, and then everyone's contributing. But I just don't think it's equitable for people receiving these large pensions to have the exclusion, 100% exclusion.
And what happens? What is the standard across the country? Is there a standard across the country?
No, actually, it's not a standard. Many states do not tax pensions, and interestingly enough, some states have found with studies that it actually hurts because people do move away. That's a complicated issue, but and then property values drop and there's less property taxes received. It's a complicated issue, so there's probably some middle ground there. But and some states don't tax any income at all, like Florida, Nevada,
Right.
Alaska. So you have it all over the board, but many states do have carve-outs or exceptions for pensions.
Okay.
Many of the states that we compete with, actually, Wisconsin, Indiana, Ohio, do tax pensions.
Right.
Right. So if all these changes that you're suggesting only apply to new and going forward,
Yes.
will it take a very long time for states and cities to kind of level out and get into a better place?
It will take a very long time. Yeah, I think it's, I think we have a bit of a crisis now, and if we only address it to new employees, the crisis is going to last a long time.
Okay. And one quick answer to, sometimes it's thought that public employees get paid less, and therefore the benefit should be more. Is that a fallacy, or is that actually true when you compare public and private?
You're right, there's a lot of data on that, and I think it's generally a fallacy, to be honest.
Okay.
That public employees are generally reasonably paid. And I think that the whole concept of my belief is that as a public, we need to pay people when they're working, and if we do that and give them a reasonable salary rather than all this deferred health care and pensions, then the wages can much more directly be compared.
Okay. All right. So tell us something about your website and how people can find you and
Yeah, so the website is the PEBRC,
Which
is
stands for?
Public Employee Benefit Reform
Right.
Council.org.
Yes.
And so it's an easy search, and there we have a lot of different information. We have some information on the Ann Arbor plan. We have a lot of links to news articles, and a lot of information just to help people understand how a pension really works
Yes. Yes.
and what's a reasonable retirement.
Right. You do have one heading of expensive pensions, and you do this Ann Arbor there. I did notice that. Is there any other thing that you want us in this last second to leave as a message, or would you just want to repeat your website for everybody?
I think that this is an important issue that the public needs to be informed about.
Yes.
And please use our website, pebrc.org, as a source to learn more about this, and then advocate within our city.
Okay. Well, yes.
We thank you very much for allowing us to help inform people about this.
Well, I thank you very
Thank you.
much, Doug and Mike, for your expertise on the public employee benefits. It's really needs some reform, and we thank you for your input. And I want to thank you for watching. Let us know if there's an issue that you would like us to discuss. We'd like to hear from you. Send your comments and your suggestions. We always welcome other perspectives. See you next time. Thanks for watching.